Telecom needs a new network, and Hedgehog is the telco cloud network. Hello, I'm Mark Austin, CEO of Hedgehog. I'm going to start this presentation with the telco cloud business overview. Then my team will follow up with a product demonstration. Hedgehog is the unvendor to telecom service providers who strive to be the uncarrier. We saw how the legacy network equipment vendors were treating their customers, so we started Hedgehog to break the mold. We still see legacy data center networking vendors desperately cling to outdated practices, rigid contracts, and high fees while they rapidly lose IT market share to the big three. Telco workloads have been migrating to AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform, where operations teams enjoy a convenient user experience, but they do pay for it with stiff convenience fees and high interest rate financing. Hedgehog makes it possible for telecommunication service providers to take control of their core network costs with modern telco cloud infrastructure. Modern telco cloud in turn unlocks opportunities to innovate with AI for better spectrum utilization and new customer experiences. Our telco cloud customers network like hyperscalers with a convenient, simple, cloud-native user experience at a fraction of the cost of the big three or legacy network equipment vendors. Telecommunication service providers operate data center infrastructure in multiple locations. This infrastructure serves network functions that operate the public telecom network. In a mobile network, the distributed cloud starts at hundreds of metro edge data centers that work with a handful of regional data centers. Metro edge data centers aggregate backhaul traffic from cell sites, then transport this traffic to regional data centers. Both metro edge and regional data centers may peer with public cloud availability zones and regions for redundancy and failover. Collectively, we refer to this hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure as distributed cloud. Other industries like banking or healthcare may operate similar distributed cloud infrastructure for their core operations. Telecom service providers operate a lot of data center infrastructure, otherwise known as telco cloud. Telcos build cloud infrastructure to run a variety of workloads critical to delivering 5G and other network services. These workloads include operational support systems, or OSS, business support systems, or BSS, and core network functions. The problem with telco infrastructure is that it normally isn't cloud native. Most telcos continue to operate data centers with legacy proprietary data center technologies that don't scale or offer the same user experience as public cloud services offered by providers like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, which we generally refer to as the big three. Things are starting to change, though. With the advent of 5G, most mobile service providers migrated away from buying network function hardware appliances from traditional vendors like Nokia and Ericsson. They started adopting the ETSI standards for network functions virtualization, or NFV. This telecom trend coincided with early concepts of software-defined networking, otherwise known as SDN, and required virtualized infrastructure from vendors like VMware. Management and orchestration, or MANO, of these virtualized network functions, or VNFs, proved difficult in VMware environments. Meanwhile, cloud-native computing rapidly evolved with the use of containers on the big three, and Kubernetes quickly became the de facto technology for cloud-native workload orchestration. This caused NFV to evolve into cloud-native network functions, or CNFs. CNF from multiple vendors require multi-tenant isolation. A Nokia CNF needs to run in a separate cloud network than an Ericsson CNF or an Amdocs OSS BSS. The big three solve multi-tenant isolation with virtual private cloud services. VPCs in multiple availability zones can communicate with each other using transit gateway services. The big three have proven that simple, flat network architectures combined with powerful software automation can deliver unprecedented operational efficiency and service agility at hyperscale. The challenge has been that replicating this approach required building custom networking solutions from the ground up until now. So what are the requirements for modern telco cloud? Today's telcos need more than just another SDN solution. They need cloud native infrastructure that delivers hyperscale simplicity, where the network must mirror the operational model of hyperscalers with a simple flat layer 3 overlay that supports on-demand creation of virtual private clouds and network services. This architecture eliminates the complexity of traditional telco networking while enabling cloud native automation at scale. Second, true vendor freedom. Breaking free from vendor lock-in means more than just supporting multiple hardware vendors. It requires an open architecture that gives providers choice in both their underlay equipment and overlay services, with the flexibility to mix and match solutions based on their needs. And third, a cloud-native user experience. Operations teams need the same seamless experience that public cloud providers offer, with API-driven automation, infrastructure as code best practices, and instant provisioning of network services, all without sacrificing the control and cost efficiency of running their own infrastructure. Your existing cloud operations team should continue to use DevOps best practices, writing declarative infrastructure as code, managing it with source code control in Git, and incorporating common cloud-native tools like Terraform and Ansible with observability from Grafana, Prometheus, and Loki. Finally, telco cloud infrastructure must be ready for AI workloads. Telco clouds need to serve traditional telco workloads today with the ability to service AI workloads like AI radio access network or AI RAN in the very near future. So, what does Hedgehog offer? We offer radical operational simplicity. Unlike complex legacy solutions, Hedgehog's unified software appliance provides a single point of control for both underlay and overlay networking. Our cloud-native API and familiar VPC abstractions make it possible for any DevOps team to deploy and operate network services with the same ease they experience in public clouds. Data center networks are hard to operate, especially with specialized technology like InfiniBand. Finding specialized network engineers to run your AI cloud network is difficult and expensive. You really just want to run your AI infrastructure with your existing cloud operations team. Hedgehog offers a cloud user experience that is familiar to any cloud operations team. No specialized network engineers required. Multi-tenant cloud services look just like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. That cloud UX starts with a virtual private cloud service in your front-end network for north-south traffic to your GPU cluster. Hedgehog connects with the internet and other cloud service providers with gateway services for transit, load balancing, and security. True multi-vendor freedom. Hedgehog breaks vendor lock-in with an open architecture that supports your choice of white box switching from providers like Celestica, Dell, EdgeCore, or Supermicro. Our gateway services ensure seamless integration between new and existing infrastructure, letting you monetize at your own pace while extracting maximum value from existing investments. High-performance AI networks are currently only available from one vendor, and they are really expensive. You'll need a small army of specialized network engineers to run it too. You can network like a hyperscaler with Hedgehog. Our open source software gives you the freedom to buy network equipment from multiple vendors whenever you need it. Hedgehog automates all your network operations, so your operating cost is low too. Finally, a high-performance network for AI workloads. AI developers need AI training and fine-tuning workloads to run fast, and inference should feel human. AI creates network congestion with large east-west flows between GPUs and back-end compute networks. Congestion and packet loss reduces effective bandwidth and extends job completion time. Network latency can kill the AI user experience. Hedgehog reduces AI job completion time for training and fine-tuning with high effective bandwidth in a lossless network while delighting users with low latency inference. The Hedgehog data plane manages congestion and adapts routing in backend GPU fabrics for optimal AI network performance. Hedgehog's virtual private cloud service provides a private, isolated network for multiple tenants on shared private cloud infrastructure. Hedgehog customers use our cloud-native API to provision tenants with VPCs. The Hedgehog VPC looks, feels, and operates just like AWS Virtual Private Cloud. Hedgehog supports the full lifecycle of cloud-native operations from day 0 to day 1 to day N. Start by declaring your network infrastructure as code with YAML. Then manage your infrastructure code in source control like Git for GitOps. Integrate your network infrastructure as code with cloud automation tools like Argo CD, Ansible, or Terraform for complete cloud infrastructure operations. Hedgehog collects network telemetry with Grafana Alloy. We store your network flow data in Prometheus, and we store your network logs in Grafana Loki. You're then able to observe your network health in Hedgehog Grafana dashboards that you can mash up with compute, storage, and application performance monitoring. Hedgehog services are delivered in a software appliance that includes all the open source software necessary to power Hedgehog services on physical infrastructures. Customers download the appliance from our website, install it on a server connected to their network infrastructure, add their infrastructure as code, and run the appliance. The software appliance installs all necessary software on physical network infrastructure. Users then interact with the Hedgehog API to provision tenants with VPCs and configure gateway services the same way they would provision and manage tenants on AWS, Azure, or GCP. Hedgehog software then runs on data center switches, controller servers, and gateway servers. Future versions will run on smart NICs and host servers. Hedgehog zero-touch provisioning installs the Sonic network operating system and the Hedgehog control agent on leaf and spine switches. It installs the Hedgehog controller on lightweight server nodes, and it installs the Hedgehog gateway on more server nodes at the edge of your network. Next, my team will give you a product demonstration. I'd like to introduce Manuele Di Pascale, who's going to do that now. Thank you.